Welcome to Judge of Ghana TV. Akwa Baba, Judge of Ghana TV. So, Thursday, the 23rd of January 2025. And as it is today, President John Dramani Mahama has nominated 42 ministerial positions, 7 of which are women. He has appointed 7 women to significant ministerial roles. Here are the appointees. 1. Agnes na Momo Lartey. Position is Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection. Her background is Agnes na Momo Lartey is a seasoned politician and a member of the National Democratic Congress (NDC). She has previously served as a member of parliament for the Anloh constituency and has been actively involved in gender advocacy, focusing on women's rights and child welfare. Her experience in social issues positions her well for this ministry. 2. Abla, Dzifa, Gomashie. She has been in the previous John Mahama administration, and her position is Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. Her background, Abla Dzifa Gomashie, is known for her contributions to the arts and culture sector in Ghana. She has a background in film and television production and has served as the Deputy Minister for Tourism under Mahama's previous administration. Her passion for promoting Ghanaian culture makes her a fitting choice for this role. 3. Emilia Arthur. Her position is Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture. Her background, Emilia Arthur has been involved in various capacities within the fisheries sector, advocating for sustainable fishing practices. She previously served as the Deputy Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, where she focused on policies aimed at enhancing the livelihoods of fishermen and women in coastal communities. 4. Rita Akosia Eje Awote. Her position is Regional Minister for Eastern Region. Rita Akosia Eje Awote is a political figure with experience in local governance. She has previously held various leadership roles within the NDC and has been active in community development initiatives. Her appointment as a regional minister underscores her commitment to addressing regional issues. 5. Linda Oklu. Her position is Regional Minister for Greater Accra Region. Her background, Linda Oklu is recognized for her work in local governance and community engagement. She has served as a member of parliament and has been involved in initiatives aimed at improving urban infrastructure and services in the Greater Accra region. 6. Elizabeth Ofosu Ajare. Position, Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. Elizabeth Ofosu Ajare has extensive experience in trade policy and agribusiness development. She previously served as the Minister of Tourism under Mahama's earlier government. Her expertise in economic development is crucial for fostering trade relations and supporting local industries. Last and not least, number 7, Justina Nelson. Her position is Chief Executive Officer for the Minerals Income Investment Fund, MIIF. Her background, Justina Nelson is an experienced professional in investment management and finance. She used to be at the Zenith Bank. She headed up the Zenith Bank. She brings expertise from her previous roles in both public and private sectors, focusing on optimizing mineral revenue management to benefit Ghana's economy. These appointments reflect a commitment to increasing women's representation in governance in Ghana, though it still constitutes only about 17% of the total ministerial positions filled by Mahama's administration. This is a good start. If you like this type of content, like, share, subscribe. So, in summary, John Mahama has produced the first female vice president in Ghana's history in Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajimai. He has now followed that on with seven women appointed to ministerial positions. John Mahama, waya adeɛ paa. He has done very well. Kudos to him, to John Mahama, His Excellency. It's a good start. Let's see what happens and how these women fare in their respective positions. And I pray it brings glory to women and to Ghanaians. If their performances are excellent, it will bode well for women. But as I've said previously, in 2020, I had a revelation that we will, we, the Ghanaian people, will get a female president. There will be a Ghanaian female president in the not too distant future. So let's see how things pan out. But it's on its way. After all, women are more than men in Ghana, in Ghana's population. So it is befitting to have a female president because other African countries have had a female president like Johnson Sirleaf, Her Excellency Johnson Sirleaf. So why not Ghana? So it's on its way, and we wish them well. In terms of the other 42 ministerial positions, the other positions in the 42, which are male, I guess the usual suspects, but I think there are some notable names to mention. Of course, in every country, law and order is paramount. So having a well rounded, experienced attorney general is key. And President John Dramani Mahama has selected Dominic Ayini as his attorney general. I believe with the setup of Operation Recover or Loot Oral, and if Oral works very well, there should be many cases that are forwarded to criminal court because we can't live in a country where people take the law into their own hands. Hmm? And after they've done you dirty and they've stamped all over you because they are in political power and they control all the organizations from the police, because in this country, every vice president in this country since 1992 has been the chairman of the police council. How do you expect there to be independence when the chairman of the police council is basically an appointee or selected by the president of the country? Is it any wonder they create loot and share with impunity? Because they've got a, an open check to do this. There are no checks and balances. It is just wrong. We need to look at how the Inspector General of Police is appointed in Ghana, and the Constitutional Review Committee that His Excellency John Mahama has put into place is very appropriate and very timeous. We need that because the 1992 Constitution of Ghana needs to be reviewed and amended for the betterment. We need more independence in these bodies. So it is shocking when you hear some members of the New Patriotic Party, Afenyo Markin, you know, His Honorable Afenyo Markin in Parliament, speaking on behalf of the New Patriotic Party and the new Swami MP, John Darko, attacking the relevance of Operation Recover or Loot Oral, which is so necessary because we don't have an independent judiciary and we don't have an independent police. The Ghana Police Service is not independent, and the Judicial Service of Ghana is not independent. These bodies and the people in these organizations are being manipulated, some of them by the ruling party in government or the ruling government. And we have seen so many abuses of this during, especially, it was very much magnified during the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo tenure, 8-year tenure. Because if you saw the way they raped and pillaged the country Ghana and were just grabbing lands belonging to individual state lands, just dishonestly appropriating property, whether state lands or cheating people out of their properties, kicking them out, making them homeless, taking over their property, doing what they wanted to do with impunity because they know they've jammed you in all the places you can run to. First of all, they destroy your property and it creates shock and awe. You might even die in the process, so that you cannot fight a good fight to defend your property. They block you because they already come to your property and invade your property with police officers who don't have any legitimate paperwork. Nothing, nothing, nothing. They just cock up stories because they've got the police in their pocket, especially sometimes the local police stations, in especially these so called prime areas of Accra. They have them in their pocket. They bring them. Listen, look at what happened in Kaswa, where a soldier lost his life. He was shot right in front of the police station in Kaswa. He was shot because the land guard, who felt he had all the power in the world, was supported by the police to do what he chose to do with impunity in Kaswa. Yes. So this is just like a spillover of what was bound to happen because you can't keep doing these things and expect everything to go hanky dory. Look, the Bible says in Proverbs 31, yes, it says in Proverbs 31 that if the righteous and the just get their reward on earth, how much more the wicked and the sinner? God told me something many, many years ago. I had a revelation and um, God spoke to me, my heart, and He dropped something in my spirit. And He said, when people do criminal acts, if we're looking at it from a, you know, spiritual angle, we'll say there is evil. But everything that is evil can also be, and when it comes to law and order in the physical realm, can be classified as criminal. Hmm? Every evil man manifests criminality. Every evil man or woman manifests criminality. So when you see criminal things happening in the physical realm, it leads back to evil in the spiritual realm. Because how does evil manifest in the physical realm? It manifests as criminality, doing something unjust against another to gain an unfair advantage. That is what criminality is. You know in your heart of hearts that this thing I am coveting for, that I am fighting for, it's not mine. I'm just using uh, brute force, what we call in Twi tatashe. Hmm? Meyi meni ena midi bone, hmm? To acquire the person's property. This thing does not belong to me. And unfortunately, many Ghanaians don't know what to do when they are faced with such challenges. Because even though the constitution is made for the people, because if you don't understand the constitution of the country you live in, like Ghana, how can you abide by it? You can't. So the constitution is made for people to understand it and abide by it. Even if you look in the Bible, when God instituted the what we classify as the Ten Commandments, even though it was more than 10 commandments that God gave Moses, let's call it the Ten Commandments because that's what historically people have said. In the book of Exodus, when God gave them the Ten Commandments, He told Moses to let the people know. They were even supposed to bind it around their necks so that they will always have access to it, to be able to read it and know what to do and not what not to do. So the whole idea of having a constitution is so that everybody who is part of this country, the country called the Republic of Ghana, understands it and knows what to do and what not to do. But in this country, some of the political actors believe they are above the law, so they do things with impunity when especially when their party is in power. I pray that with the with oral coming on board, those days of doing things with impunity will change. And also the fact that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is undertaking a constitutional review. I hope that more independence will be alluded to the Ghana Police Service and the Judicial Service of Ghana. We are fed up. I mean, sometimes when you go to these courtrooms and you listen to the nonsense that is being spewed out between compromised judges and criminals, fraudsters, and you can see that it is clear you don't have to be a rocket scientist. If you're somebody with the spirit of discernment that the Most High God has given you, you can tell that the lawyer for the fraudsters is in cahoots and has been talking behind the back door with the judge. Because some of the things that are spewed out, huh. Hmm. Anyway, sometimes do you will it is unfortunate, but my experience of lawyers in Ghana here is that most of them are not honest and do not really help their clients. They are in it for what they can get for themselves. This is rather unfortunate. If you look at the developed countries, you have people who actually do things to help people. There's so few of them. I'm yet to meet a lawyer that I can say this lawyer cares about his clients and he's not doing it because of the money. He believes he has principles and he believes in justice, freedom and justice. Truly, if there are any lawyers out there who believe in freedom and justice, I'll be interested to hear from them because I really like to interview such persons so people are aware of them. Because there's so many people who have so many issues and they don't know who to turn to because my experience of lawyers is it's not a good one. I remember many years ago, this is way back in 2017, I had an urgent issue and I needed to get an injunction put on a situation. And I just walked into a a courthouse, and I spoke to the registrar there, and she said, "Oh, the issue I'm talking about would need a court injunction, and I needed to get hold of a lawyer urgently." So she recommended somebody, called ahead, and then she gave me the address. I went to see the lawyer. I got the lawyer on board. Within 24 hours, I'd paid him his fees and I'd got him engaged to go ahead and get the injunction put on the situation. The lawyer did it. Um, and then when the injunction was placed and the people were stuck because they didn't know how to a way out, they didn't have a way out of the injunction. They contacted the lawyer, my lawyer, and then they told my lawyer that, and they came in the name of a politically a law firm that was owned by a politician, and the politician was part of the ruling government, the MPP ruling government at that time. So when my lawyer heard that their lawyer representing them was this politician's law firm, he called me uh, one day and said, "Oh, it was like 11 o'clock in the morning. Oh, we have to meet at the courthouse. The judge wants to see us in her state chambers to find out how she can remove the injunction and come to some settlement, and I should come to the courthouse." And I said to my lawyer, and he said, "Oh, the reason why I have to help this particular law firm that has is owned by a politician is because maybe one day I'll need help and they can help me." That is called a selfish lawyer. You're not in it for your client. Your client has come, they have a very, very grievous issue that you had to go and get an injunction on ex parte. You did it. And then now you come back with a story about how uh, you have to help the politician's law firm so that you can get a favor in the future. Now that is selfishness. And I told my lawyer on the phone that, look, I'm not coming to any law chambers, judge's chamber, because what you're telling me is nonsense. The judge has already agreed that there's an injunction on the situation and they must come to the courthouse on such and such a date. I'm waiting for my day in court. And then he said, anyway, I think they went to the courthouse, the other side with their lawyers from the politician's chamber. And then my lawyer also went. And the only thing that moved me to even go to the chambers of the judge is the judge had to send me a text message, because that time, WhatsApp wasn't very popular, or I don't think it was even there. I'm not sure. And she sent me a text message begging me to come and she would resolve the matter in my favor, so I should come. So in the end, I made my mind up and I went. So this is my take on lawyers. Since then, I've never really found any lawyers in Ghana who have got a heart. They're always doing deals behind your back. I've heard so many horror stories of people who took lawyers on and the lawyers did them dirty. They took their money, squandered it, and then they messed up the case in favor of the other side and they lost what belonged to them. That is not a good sign. And these are not the type of lawyers we need in this country. You can represent yourself in court, and sometimes it's worth doing that. Because if you can't get any decent lawyers, you might just go and stand there by yourself and speak truth. Because anybody who's speaking truth, you can tell this person is speaking truth, and they can say their truth from anywhere because they're speaking truth. It was always consistent, the same old story. If you wake up in the morning, they'll say the same thing. In the afternoon, they'll say the same thing. In the evening, they'll say the same thing. We need honesty. The court system should not be, oh, if you're not a lawyer, you can't come to the courthouse. It's rubbish. In the UK, people represent themselves all the time. If I can talk and I can walk and I can make sense and I can make a good argument, I should be able to stand in the dock and speak with boldness. In Ghana here, if you don't represent you represent yourself and you go to a courthouse, the way they treat you, they don't even want you to look at your paper. But the other side's lawyer is looking at their paper. They don't want you to write notes. But the other side's lawyer is writing notes while you're speaking. When the other side is speaking, when you're writing notes, it's like they feel uh, exposed. They don't want you to write. What is this? Try to treat you like a child. I was in a court once and representing myself on a case. And me, I've never been to court and lost a case because me, I speak truth and I back everything I say with evidence. And I was in this courthouse and this worker, I think she helps the judge, and she came, the clerk, one of the clerks came, I was speaking, they said I should remove my hand out of my pocket. And it wasn't like I intentionally did it. It was just like to steady my hands, I just hooked it on the side of my trousers. And the way she was acting, I just looked at her and said, look, these things don't perturb me. I just had to keep my cool because I had to say what I had to say. And I said what I said perfectly. I wasn't moved by the nonsense. It's just a distraction. I'm not a lawyer. I'm representing myself. But you want to um, destabilize me and make me lose my train of thought and try to make out as though I've done something wrong when I'm the victim. I'm the victim of the criminality. Yes. And I've come to court to get justice. And you treat me like this? Look, our motto here in Ghana is freedom and justice. Everything we do must be geared towards that. And my message to all the ministerial appointees in His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's government is make sure whatever you do in the opposition, remember that the motto of Ghana is freedom and justice. Do what is right and just because a good name is better than riches. A good name is better than riches. Do what is right and just. And think of people because whatever you do today, you get payback tomorrow. And look here, your payback, whether it's good or bad, will happen while you're alive. Hmm? And it can even go beyond that because even your children can suffer because of your mistakes or your evil or your wicked character. So, thank you for this time. I hope you enjoyed today's message and see you in the next episode. Bye for now. Please like, share, subscribe, put a comment down, and I'll get back to you. Bye for now.